Hey, it's Kim, and it's 2022, and people are still obsessed with Britney Spears' hair. As the investigation into Britney Spears' conservatorship is still ongoing, it's important for me to tell you that parts of this video include opinions and speculation, and should not be taken as fact. Before we get super into this, I did just want to be honest and acknowledge how ridiculous of a topic this is to cover. However, in light of Britney's new Instagram post where she disclosed that she got a haircut, and it caused so much of a stink that Google felt the need to give it its own section in Google News, and some media outlets were reporting that it was a sign that Britney was falling back into her ways and failings, I felt it was necessary. The other reason I wanted to talk about this is because I feel like the media should be reporting on another story that does involve Britney's hair, and I'm not seeing it anywhere. Earlier this week, Britney shared a post on Twitter, and in this post she talked about an experience she had where she had multiple injections to her scalp to assist with hair loss. It's unclear when this event happened, but judging by Britney's words, she was in a room with 5 people who all injected her scalp. She told them that it really hurt and she couldn't do it anymore, but they continued. And according to Britney, normally one round of injections is capped at 12 shots, but she had 36. So I ask you, what should be the bigger story when it comes to Britney Spears' hair? Should it be that a grown woman decided to get her hair cut? Or should it be that a woman was given excessive and, in my opinion, potentially dangerous medical treatments even after she asked them to stop? I think we all know what the answer should be. But to me, this actually isn't that surprising. For a long time, there's been a very strange relationship between Britney Spears and the media, and the perception and expectation of what Britney should look like. Everything from her abs to her smile to her weight, but it takes on a whole life of its own when it comes to Britney's hair. So much so that it might actually justify, in some people's minds, the idea of giving a woman 3 times the recommended dosage of a treatment, allegedly, so that she could have pretty hair. This goes deeper into a theory I've had for a long time about the perception of Britney Spears and society's expectations on her. I think for a long time, people have viewed Britney as a product and not as a person. Almost like she's a walking, talking Britney Barbie that has to meet a specific expectation, and if she doesn't, she is the one in the wrong. But if we're going to talk about Britney Spears' hair, we should probably look at what her natural hair actually is. To start, Britney naturally has brown hair, and it's not super thick. So because her natural hair color is darker than the color she normally wears, she would have to have her hair bleached fairly often, which after a while can cause damage. It's also normal in the entertainment industry and even just in day-to-day life for people to wear different hair pieces, wigs, or hair extensions to help them achieve the hairstyle that they're going for. And sometimes those extensions, depending on the type, can cause damage over time. And in some cases, extensions can be uncomfortable and even at times painful. So Britney has used extensions fairly often. She actually joked about it in her TV show Chaotic in 2005.
We took my some extensions out of my hair. It's a girl, I know. And we took the extensions out, and my hair is like, I have none.
So it sounds like Britney's hair has been through a lot, and she likely has struggled with damage in the past. And Britney is not alone in this. A great example of this is Ariana Grande. She had to dye her hair pretty regularly earlier in her career, and it caused so much damage that the only hairstyle she could wear was a high ponytail, mostly made of extensions. Now, of course, when we talk about Britney's hair, we have to bring up the elephant in the room, which is when Britney decided to shave her head in 2007. And to this day, I have difficulty understanding why this was such a huge deal. And I say that because people shave their head all the time, and even at the time, there were many women in entertainment who were shaving their head or had shaved their head, and it wasn't a big deal. And literally, off the top of my head, I think of Natalie Portman, Demi Moore, Pink, Kate Blanchett, Angelina Jolie. They all shaved their head or cut their hair very short. But when Britney did it, it was mass hysteria.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
And even when Britney was asked about it, her response was literally, people shave their heads all the time.
When you look back at the whole shaving of the head thing and all the rest of it, what provoked you to do that?
Like, I was going through so much artificial stuff with my kids and with Kevin and all that stuff at the time, and he just left me, and I was devastated, you know? And people thought that it was me, like, going crazy and stuff like that, but people shave their heads all the time, you know? But I mean, I was going through a lot, but it was just kind of like me just feeling a form of a little bit of rebellion, or feeling free, or, you know, shedding stuff that had happened, or, you know.
Why did you not tell anyone that's what you were doing?
Huh?
Why did you not tell anyone that's what you were doing?
I didn't think it was anyone's business, really.
People shave their heads. I'm sorry this has been emotionally crippling to some people, but we're moving on. After the head shaving incident, the conservatorship came into effect. Now, allegedly, at this point, Britney really didn't have much control over the way that she looked. And we started to see her wear a lot of extensions, which, as I've mentioned before, especially if you're moving around, sometimes they can become very uncomfortable and at times painful. And we started to see that during performances, Britney would get very uncomfortable with these extensions and would actually take them out. As time went on, it seemed like she was stuck in this one image of this cookie cutter Britney Spears, and it was the only thing that was acceptable. And I actually found a clip that perfectly illustrates this, and when I found it, I almost threw up in my mouth.
It's every woman's worst nightmare, a hair extension falling out. Well, it happened to none other than Britney Spears.
If your worst fear is a hair extension falling out, can we trade lives?
It happened on stage in front of hundreds of people, and it was videotaped.
Like the many times before that Britney had been filmed with extensions falling out, it's hair extensions. It happens. That's life.
The reason she's wearing those extensions is because she cut her hair into a bob recently. Yeah, not the best move when your long locks are part of your trademark style, and the whole reason you're doing this Vegas show is so we'll all remember the old classic Britney.
What she just said, partnered with that clip of Larry walking beside her. If people can't see what's wrong with this clip, I give up on humanity.
For all the 17 years of the torture you put me through.
And with that being said, I come to the recent post that Britney made saying that she has cut her hair and is nervous to show everyone. And I get why she's nervous. When you take a look back at her career and you see all of the judgment that she's received from every part of her body, and especially her hair, it just is ridiculous, and I completely understand why she would be scared of sharing any of it. I, for one, am just happy to see her making her own decisions and doing things with her hair that she wants to do. And honestly, people changing their hair after they've been through something traumatic is pretty normal. I've got a couple links in the description that kind of go into this phenomenon of people doing that and understanding that it is a coping mechanism, and it also is a way of taking control back over oneself. Sometimes it's rebellion, sometimes it's freedom, but in a lot of cases, it can be healing. When I look at all of this, I find it very difficult to understand. Like, what is it about Britney that makes her different? Why is it that when she gets a haircut, everybody goes crazy? But if, for example, Christina Aguilera changes her hair, nobody really says anything. And when we talk about other icons in the industry, for example, like Madonna, nobody freaks out when Madonna cuts her hair. If anything, her changing her hair is expected. I think the bottom line is, for whatever reason, there seems to be this thing that makes Britney different. And as much as I study it and I look into it, I can't put my finger on what that is. And I don't know if I ever will. At the end of the day, it's hair. It grows back. And if it's not our body, I really don't believe that it's our business. We do not have ownership over anybody else, and we don't get to choose how other people present themselves, even if that person is Britney Spears.